What's up, pack members? It's your Spirits Alpha here, and as you might know, I have just finished the third and final installment of The Wolf and the Moon. So, The Wolf and the Moon was a trilogy I just came up with, and it pretty much acts as like my own version of the Souls games, such as Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3, Bloodborne, or even Demon Souls, or Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, which is the most recent Souls game. So, well, it kind of ties with Dark Souls and the Legends, though with a tiny taste of Bloodborne every now and then. But either way, it's kind of for the fans, and it's original, so yeah. So, not to mention, each and every one of the games had a Choose Your Destiny, in which you choose a link in the description, and you got a different ending. Now, although this is an interesting concept and a cool interaction for the viewers, it's still, the endings of The Wolf and the Moon are a little bit hard to explain and by just watching them. That's why I'm making this video to explain each and every one of the endings in The Wolf and the Moon trilogy. Now, before I start though, I do have to warn you, this video does contain massive spoilers for The Wolf and the Moon. So, if you have not watched a series yet, I recommend you stop watching this video right now and go watch the trilogy. I'll have a list on my channel. Well, it's already made, so just go to my playlist and click on The Wolf and the Moon, and you'll be able to watch the whole trilogy. They're in order, so should be pretty simple. Well, except for the endings, you gotta choose your own ending, but you should know what I mean. So anyway, once again, if you have not seen the series yet, stop watching now. Okay, so for those of you who have already seen the series and are ready, let's get started, shall we? So let's start with the first game, which is just The Wolf and the Moon. So, how this one works is after defeating Xavier, Spirit returns to the cursed moonlit woods to see his father Black Mask sitting down. Now congratulating Spirit for his hard work, he makes a moon altar appear and tells his son that he should link the moonlight, thus making the Magi realm safe again. Spirit now has two choices. He can either link the moonlight as his father told him, or he can refuse. If the player were to choose link the moonlight, Spirit will gladly accept and link the moonlight, thus making the Magi safe again. Also, to becoming the guardian of moonlight, Spirit is now a figure to be looked up to and is a true hero, thus making this the good ending. If the player were to choose refuse, however, Spirit says that while linking the moonlight and saving the Magi realm would be important, he does not want to take on the responsibility as guardian. As such, he has to refuse, he says to his father. Now, angered at Spirit, Black Mask thinks something has messed with Spirit's mind and decides that if he won't link the moonlight willingly, then he'll have to force his son to. Now taking out his special two-bladed weapon, and he now fights his own son to try to force him to link the moonlight, but fails and ends up getting killed by his own son. Spirit, now with no leader for the Wolfbloods, and since the moonlight has not been linked, Twilight consumes Spirit, and Spirit, now having a much darker mind and heart, has now taken the place of Xavier, thus making this the bad ending. So, let's move on to the second game, the Nightmare Realm, or The Wolf and the Moon 2, the Nightmare Realm. So, after the long adventure in the Nightmare Realm, after defeating Mikolash and the Moon Exorcist, Spirit now returns to his real dimension or reality, whatever you want to call it, and finds that he is in the middle of two sides, the Wolfbloods and the Legion. Both of them beckon him to come onto their side. Spirit Spirit now has to make a choice. He can either fight with the Legion, defend the Wolfbloods, or refuse to choose a side. If the player were to choose defend in the Wolfbloods, then he would go over to the Wolfblood side and explain that he has to stick with the family he was born into. Now leaving with the Wolfbloods, the Legion is now saddened that Spirit will not be with them anymore. They know that he's the wolf who linked the moon as such, which has his own responsibilities, and they know they'll see him again since he said, if you ever need help, just give me a howl or something like that. If Spirit were to choose fight with the Legion, Spirit will walk over to the Legion side and explain to the Wolfbloods that he needs to fight by their side for a little bit longer, just until he makes sure that they're safe. The Wolfbloods aren't very thrilled by Spirit's decision, but they do understand and that it would be the right thing to do in order to keep everyone safe. Being proud of their son being proud of Spirit for having such good courage, thus making this another good ending. So choosing either side will have a good ending. However, if the player were to refuse to choose a side, then Spirit will explain that both sides mean too much to him and he can't actually choose. Black Mass is now angered and blames the Legion for messing with Spirit's mind to where he can't choose, and also claims that they turned their own son against him. Not being true, the Legion also gets angry and battles the Wolfbloods, thus both sides eliminating each other. Spirit's now the lone wolf and has to continue his adventures all on his own, thus making this the bad ending. So, let's now move on to the third and final game, The Wolf in the Moon 3. So, after defeating Vertex in the Dark Dimension, it now reverts back to the killing of the first moon, and Spirit, along with Wade, it now has to make a choice. He can either link the first moon to once again keep the Magi safe and also become the guardian of moonlight. He can summon Princess Amora to end the moonlight and also end all forms of dark magic. Or he can choose usurp the moonlight. As Tomaska said, it would give him great power, but at a cost. So, if the player were to choose link the first moon, Spirit would walk up to the moon altar, take the moonlight in his hand, and then rest by the moon altar, knowing that he has to be the guardian, and the Magi are proud and safe forever this time, or at least for a while, thus making this the good ending. If the player were to choose Summon Amora, then Amora would appear and take the moonlight from the moon altar, thus us destroying it. And now the dark magic has been destroyed, so no enemy could come back. However, the Magi's magic has also been destroyed. Now the Magi have none of their powers. The Magi now have none of their powers left, and now have to use their own weapons just for survival, thus making this the bad ending. However, the third and final ending is if the player chooses usurp the moonlight, Spirit will walk up to the moon altar, and much like the first ending, will take the moonlight in his own hand, but instead of resting by the moon altar, he will press it into his chest and heart, thus causing him to drop to his knees as moonlight erupts from within. When the light clears, Spirit has transformed into an infant great wolf. Wade now promises to take a good care of him, as Spirit's now practically a god and will be able to keep the Magi realm safe for good. Now, a week later, Spirit has grown into a fully grown great wolf. and has now become the ultimate defender of the Magi Realm, since the Great Wolf is the most powerful being in the Magi Realm. Spirit knows it's going to be a heavy burden to bear, and he has to do a lot of work as the Great Wolf, but at least he knows that he'll be making a lot of the Magi proud for him, and every clan as well. Wolfbloods, Holy Guards, Renegades, and even the Celestial Council. All of them will now be praising the Great Wolf, also known as Spirit, thus making this the true ending of The Wolf and the Moon. So, hope you enjoyed all of these endings explained. So, for those of you who have watched the series, now you know what each ending means, or each one is now explained more in depth. So, I hope you enjoyed the video, and until next time, this is Spirit the Alpha signing out. I'll see you guys back in the pack.